Okay, I'm getting back into my reading. What I am doing in this series is to read through the entire standard works of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. This consists of the Bible, the Book of Mormon, the Doctrine and Covenants, and the Pearl of Great Price. I am reading in a chronological order of events, not according to publication or volume, so I will be skipping around just a little bit as I move along. Right now, I am in Exodus. This will be chapter 26. It is somewhat of a long chapter, but it's a pretty simple chapter, so I don't know. We may have to do it in 2 videos, but we may get through it in 1. Let us see. Tabernacle to be built with 10 curtains and with boards. Veil to separate the holy place from the most holy place. Ark of testimony with the mercy seat to be put in the most holy place. Moreover, thou shalt make the tabernacle with 10 curtains of fine twined linen, and blue and purple and scarlet, with cherubims of cunning work shalt thou make them. The length of 1 curtain shall be 28 cubits, and the breadth of 1 curtain 4 cubits. And every one of the curtains shall have 1 measure. The 5 curtains shall be coupled together one to another, and other 5 curtains shall be coupled one to another. And thou shalt make loops of blue upon the edge of the 1 curtain from the selvage to the coupling. And likewise shalt thou make in the uttermost edge of another curtain in the coupling of the second. 50 loops shalt thou make in the 1 curtain, and 50 loops shalt thou make in the edge of the curtain that is in the coupling of the second, that the loops may take hold one of another. And thou shalt make 50 taches of gold, and couple the curtains together with the taches, and it shall be 1 tabernacle. Interesting. So the tabernacle, the curtains, 8 cubits, is approximately 12 feet. 4 cubits is approximately 6 feet, so it's 6 feet high, 12 feet long, and when it's talking about the loops and the couplings and everything, this is, you make the 1 curtain and you put loops in the edge, and then the taches would be clasps that would then go through the loop of 1 curtain and through the loop of another curtain and clasp them together and latch them together so that they became 1 continuous curtain. And that's what it means when it says it shall be 1 tabernacle. So, verse 7, and thou shalt make curtains of goat's hair to be a covering upon the tabernacle. 11 curtains shalt thou make. The length of 1 curtain shall be 30 cubits, and the breadth of 1 curtain 4 cubits. And the 11 curtains shall be all of 1 measure, and thou shalt couple 5 curtains by themselves, and 6 curtains by themselves, and shalt double the 6th curtain in the forefront of the tabernacle. And thou shalt make 50 loops on the edges of 1 curtain that is outmost in the coupling, and 50 loops in the edge of the curtain which coupleth the second. And thou shalt make 50 taches of brass, and put the taches into the loops, and couple the tent together, that it may be 1. And the remnant that remaineth of the curtains of the tent, the half curtain that remaineth, shall hang over the backside of the tabernacle, and a cubit on the one side, and a cubit on the other side of that which remaineth in the length of the curtains of the tent. It shall hang over the sides of the tabernacle, on this side and on that side, to cover it. And thou shalt make a covering for the tents of ram skins dyed red, and a covering above of badger skins. So the tabernacle was 1 kind of tent, and you had the 5 curtains on each side that they're talking about, made out of fine linen, blue, purple, and scarlet, with embroidery of cherubims on it. And then to cover it, to go over it, you have this goat's hair and ram skin curtains or tents that are built to go over the top of the tabernacle to cover it. Verse 15. And thou shalt make boards for the tabernacle of shittim wood, standing up. 10 cubits shall be the length of a board, and a cubit and a half shall be the breadth of one board. 2 tenons shall there be in one board, set in order one against another. Thus shalt thou make for all the boards of the tabernacle. And thou shalt make the boards of the tabernacle 20 boards on the south side, southward, and thou shalt make 40 sockets of silver under the 20 boards, 2 sockets under one board for his 2 tenons, and 2 sockets under another board for his 2 tenons. And for the second side of the tabernacle on the north side there shall be 20 boards, and there 40 sockets of silver, 2 sockets under one board, and 2 sockets under another board. And for the sides of the tabernacle westward thou shalt make 6 boards, and 2 boards shalt thou make for the corners of the tabernacle in the 2 sides, and they shall be coupled together beneath, and they shall be coupled together above the head of it unto one ring. Thus shall it be for them both. They shall be for the 2 corners, and they shall be 8 boards, and they shall be 8 boards, and their sockets of silver 16 sockets, 2 sockets under the one board and 2 sockets under the other board. So this is the framework that the tent would be placed over. And you know there's 20 boards on one side, on the north side and on the south side, and 6 on the west side. So you can see how it is long and narrow. Verse 26. And thou shalt make bars of shittim wood, 5 for the boards of the one side of the tabernacle, and 5 boards for the boards, and 5 bars for the boards of the other side of the tabernacle, and 5 bars for the boards of the side of the tabernacle for the 2 sides westward. And the middle bar in the midst of the boards shall reach from end to end, and thou shalt overlay the boards with gold, and make their rings of gold for places for the bars. And thou shalt overlay the bars with gold, and thou shalt rear up the tabernacle according to the fashion thereof, which was shewed thee in the mount. Oh yeah, there's a little confusion here, and honestly, I'm not exactly sure what they're talking about. I'd have to do a little bit more research and see what all this means. But it seems to me, this is what it seems to me. And again, this could be wrong, but the 20 boards on each side are standing up. They're standing up. And then you have the bars. These are the 5 bars. These would be the cross bars, kind of like a fence. You have the posts, and then you have the cross beams. And the cross beams are being overlaid with gold, and they're being set into the boards, or they're being hung on the boards. And this makes a framework on each side, and then the curtains will be draped over the framework to form a tent. That's what it appears to be to me. I'll probably do a little more research in a day or two and see if I can't get a more detailed explanation of the tabernacle, because a lot of the terms being used here are not familiar in the modern day. Tenons, sockets, tatches. I mean, the footnotes do give us some understanding, but it is very, it's very technical stuff for construction, and so you really have to do a deep dive into this, which I don't want to do in these videos right now, to get the full fashion of the tabernacle and what it would have looked like. There are people who have done it, and so we'll take a look at it in a future video, and we'll see what we think. But that's kind of the impression that I'm getting from it, is that we have the board standing up and the crossbars, and this makes a framework for the tent to go over. Verse 31. And thou shalt make a veil of blue and purple and scarlet and fine twined linen of cunning work, with cherubim shall it be made. And thou shalt hang it upon the 4 pillars of shittim wood overlaid with gold. Their hooks shall be of gold upon the 4 sockets of silver. And thou shalt hang up the veil under the taches, that thou mayest bring in thither within the veil of the ark of the testimony. And the veil shall divide unto you between the holy place and the most holy. And thou shalt put the mercy seat upon the ark of the testimony in the most holy place. And thou shalt set the table without the veil, and the candlestick over against the table on the side of the tabernacle toward the south. And thou shalt put the table of the north on the north side. And thou shalt make an hanging for the door of the tent of blue and purple and scarlet and fine twined linen, wrought with needlework. And thou shalt make for the hanging 5 pillars of shittim wood, and overlay them with gold, and their hooks shall be of gold. And thou shalt cast 5 sockets of brass for them. And that is where we end. So there's the tabernacle it's a kind of a long, thin structure. And we have the 3 sides that are being put on, but then we have the door that is hanging. This is just, again, it's kind of like a curtain door, where it's hung and you just kind of pull it back to go in. It's not like it's a framework wooden door. This is a cloth, a curtain door. But inside the tabernacle, it is divided in half by this veil. And in the most holy place, that's where the Ark of the Covenant with its mercy seat is. In the holy place, which is the first place you would enter, is the table of shewbread and the candlestick. So we have this long, thin structure with this division within it. And I'm going to leave it there because, as I said, this is just my impressions on the basics of what it would look like. So we will continue this in the next video.